Longy here from the Casual Athlete, coming at you with the top 10 NRL fantasy scorers around 14. And I'll tell you what, guys, it was a bit of a mixed bag. A couple of surprising options in here. A couple of guys who not many coaches own. First one off that rank is Zach Lomax. So the guy came out, he played for the Blues the other day, had a really good performance for the Blues in a losing team. He's come out and backed it up at Clubland as well. So obviously St. George, they ran all over the Tigers in the second half, and Zach Lomax was no exception. So for him, you got 3 tries, you got nearly 200 meters run, you got 10 goals kicked there, 103 fantasy points. He's available for 629K right now. He's available at center and wing fullback as well. So if you've got Zach Lomax, enjoy the big score. If you don't have him, I wouldn't go and rush to buy him because St. George do have some average buy schedules sort of set up, considering the fact that Zach Lomax will almost certainly play games 2 and 3 of State of Origin. So Lomax, enjoy it if you have him, but don't chase the points there. Next guy up here, Brian Toe. And if he gets the ball this much, he can do this on any given week. So he came out here, 13 tackle busts and 4 line breaks. The guy just couldn't be tackled, right? He had spiders all over him. He was something else in this game, right? So 100 fantasy points. You got the 3 tries there too. He's available at a pretty good price, but again, another guy who will almost certainly stay in the Origin side. In fact, I would say he's about 100% chance of staying in that Origin side. So you can't go and get Brian Toe necessarily unless you are a head-to-head coach. But even then, I would reconsider it. I just think this was a bit of an outlier game. Can't see him maintaining this, especially with having to back up from Origin and the fact that the Panthers do have some good depth at the wing as well. So he might get a rest at some point. Latrell Mitchell next. And this is a bittersweet performance. So if you bought Latrell, you got 99 points out of him. I know a lot of fantasy coaches who went and captained Latrell as well. So bravo to you is my first thing there. He was available at 719K. And this game, it's hard for me to summarize in terms of key stats, but we've got 3 try assists there. He could have had more with the way some of the calls went. 4 offloads, 6 goals. So it was more of a ball-playing performance, although he did have some tackle busts. He had a try as well. Really, Latrell did it all in this game. Now, the downside for you as a fantasy coach is because he played so well, I reckon he's in near certainty of playing Origin in game 2. So he just played too well to be ignored. At this point, if he keeps up this sort of form, then Madge will have no choice, right? He's going to have to pick Latrell. So that's a tough one because the Bunnies do have the buy in round 17 and he'll miss round 16 due to Origin as well. So if you were looking at buying him next week, you'd have him for round 15 and potentially lose him for 2 weeks after that. So it's a hard one to go and buy him right now, and I probably wouldn't recommend doing it. But if you do have him, enjoy that ride. You've gotten a big win there, and congratulations to you for having the guts to go and make that move. All right, fourth on the list here is Tyron Wishart, and look, half and wing fullback eligible, 423K. He's a cut price sort of guy, but he's performing like a top gun. So in this game, he had 2 tries. He had 122 meters run, so he was going all over the place in this game. Had a pretty low score until he scored those tries as well, so he really rocketed up at the end of the game. You've also got a forced turnover and a try saver, so he was producing on the defensive side of the ball too, which for Tyron Wishart and for the wing fullback half position is pretty irregular. But hey, this guy's just finding ways to score points. 86 fantasy points. If you have him, you're loving it. I wouldn't expect 86 every week, but he's a guy who has that big upside as he's showing this year. Jerome Hughes, his halves partner, is the next guy off the rank here, and he was a bit more of a popular buy this week. I got on Jerome Hughes this week, so 76 points is pretty great. He's in the half spot. He had a try assist. He had 4 tackle breaks. 102 run meters. He had a bunch of kick meters as well. He had some offloads. Jerome Hughes was doing everything in this game, and it was a high-scoring game, right? So he had an on-fire sort of Melbourne side coming up against a very strong Knights side. Both teams scored a lot of points, but Melbourne scored more, and that was led by their halves here, who both produced massive fantasy scores. Notable mentions for 6 till 10. Tommy Talau, the absolute GOAT, 75 points. He has turned it around because I remember Talau was one of those guys who would average below 20 points in the past. He's rocketing up into the mid-30s right now, and he's a completely different beast on Manly. So 75, had a great game there. We got Dane Gagai, 73 points. Again, he's got a great base, so he runs the ball a ton. He's very hard to tackle. When he adds a few tries onto that, which, again, in that Melbourne game, there were plenty of tries to go around, him and Dylan Lucas both can bump their scores up quite a bit. Now, for Lucas, he's sort of that 40 to 45 kind of guy without attacking stats. You throw in these tries. We had a double in the first half in this game, which was crazy. 72 fantasy points for him. Stephen Crichton, 71. This one could update as well. But he was dominating. Up against Dejan Arce at Parramatta, he just showed his class in that game. And Crichton basically won the game for the Dogs there. So bravo to him. And then Dane Laurie filling in for Dylan Edwards, 70 points in this game. So again, a couple of Penrith back 3 options there in the top 10. Laurie was dynamic, and he's a guy who I think is good enough to be a starting fullback somewhere. So I hope he does find that chance in the future. Anyway, that is the top 10 fantasy scorers for round 14. Hopefully you went well this week. Stay tuned. We'll be posting up our top buys and our top pods as well later in the week. I'll see you on those videos.